So even with the import duties going to 75, people are forgetting that we have state government and the state taxes are still going to be applied. Now, we don't know which state is going to apply what kind of taxes and how much is the percentage. We have no idea about that. So, for example, the lowest state currently is Goa. Goa has the least number of import taxes. And then Pondicherry is one of the union territory. It comes under the state of Tamil Nadu, but it has a different government of its own and has the different percentage of taxes to that.
Welcome to Asia Wine Market, the series that takes you inside the most dynamic and fast-evolving wine markets across Asia. I'm your host, Roza, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories, trends, and opportunities shaping the future of wine in this vibrant region. Whether you're a winery looking to expand in Asia or a wine professional exploring global trends, this series is for you. Hello and welcome to Asia Wine Market Series. Today we are moving to India once again. This is going to be our second interview on India. If you want to go for an overview of the market, you can listen to our previous interview. And today we are very happy to welcome Mohona Chowdhury as our guest. She's a wine consultant, educator, and writer based in France. But born and raised in India, she began her journey in luxury hospitality in India and then moved to France to get her master's in wine and hospitality management with Kedge Business School. She has worked as a somm in Michelin-starred restaurants in Paris and hosted tastings in Burgundy, while also writing for Indian and UK wine publications. She's very active in social media. She writes a lot of interesting posts, so make sure to follow her on Instagram. Hello, Mohona, and
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting Rosa.
So, Mohona, before we start the main part of the interview, can you briefly walk us through how your wine journey began and what motivated you to move to France?
Okay, so as you already have described the introduction pretty well, I started my journey in 2017 with the Oberoi Group of Hotels. I did my bachelor's with them and I graduated during the COVID. And during the COVID, I was assured that I want to do something in wine, but I did not know which path to go through and what to do. And then I found this course of MSc in Wine and Hospitality Management by Kedge Business School and École Hotel de Lausanne. And I was like, what's the best place to learn about wine? France. So then I came to France in 2021. And since then, I've been here. I've moved around. I was staying a bit in Bordeaux, mainly in Paris, but now since 2.5, 3 years, I have moved to Bonn. And now I'm writing completely for the wine magazines in India about the wine market and about what the producers are, how they want to go about for the Indian market, and also hosting wine tastings in Bonn. Yeah.
That's nice. This is a great place to learn about wine and to
Indeed.
start the career.
I'm really happy in Bonn actually in that way because you get to experience and you learn and then you even talk to the producers here. So it's pretty interesting in that way.
And also, it's the access to wines.
Yeah, to world-class wines.
Exactly. So first of all, let me introduce our key learning objectives for this episode, just to give our interview a framework. So the first one is we're going to understand the structural and regulatory complexity of the Indian wine market. Second, we're going to identify who the Indian wine consumer is and what drives this consumer to buy wines. And third, we're going to learn how Italian wineries can adapt their communication, storytelling, and very important for today, digital strategy to resonate with Indian audiences. Okay, so first of all, I've seen your post. You had several posts on Instagram on European Union and India trade. So could you please tell us all about this trade deal to give us a context, how it was before and what improvements does this deal bring to the wine consumers and also the importers and producers?
Yeah. So before the wines from European Union to India, the import taxes in India was 150%. And now with this new trade deal, immediately it has moved to 75%, and gradually it will move to 20% for the wines. And the spirit duties will move to 40%. So from 150 to gradually moving to 20, it's like a huge, huge deal. And the lower duty prices is like a price shock at the entry, even though it will not be so cheap, but the wines will be more easily accessible and there will be more varieties. Because of the higher taxes, there was like a huge problem with not small wineries not able to enter the market, but now with the lower taxes it's more accessible. And I feel that the market is more open and people can have more choices, because before it was very selected choices, but now I feel with the new FTA there will be more choices to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. So the import duties, they were 150%.
Yeah,
Now they're 75%. And you
yeah.
said that it will gradually move to 20%. Is there a particular time frame when the duties will go down from 75% to 20? Will it
I
be done gradually or all at once?
Gradually. As I also read, even though that this year with the FTA happening only in January, like the last week of January, and just 2 weeks after you had the wine Paris. So even then the excess duties were 150%. So this year it will be 75, next year January still 75, and then gradually it will keep on decreasing. So let's just say next 5 4 5 years it will easily go down to 20%. Yeah.
Okay, got it. In your post, you also mentioned that many people think about import duties getting lower and very happy to receive those news, but they forget about the taxes because India is a monopoly. And
Yeah.
also, as I understood from my previous interview too, it's like a state monopoly. So
Yeah.
each state has its own monopoly, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, could you please make a breakdown of major state monopolies? If you had to group Indian states into some broad categories, like for example, more mature markets, more high growth, emerging markets, some difficult entry markets, or easy entry markets, how would you classify them, just roughly?
Okay, so to give you an idea, continuing with the state taxes, so even with the import duties going to 75, people are forgetting that we have state government and the state taxes are still going to be applied. Now, we don't know which state is going to apply what kind of taxes and how much is the percentage. We have no idea about that. So, for example, the lowest state currently is Goa. Goa has the least number of import taxes. And then Pondicherry is one of the union territory. It comes under the state of Tamil Nadu, but it has a different government of its own and has the different percentage of taxes to that. And coming back to if I have to group wine markets in India, the mature market would definitely be Mumbai, Bangalore, New Delhi, and Goa, because also it's the high disposable income people. You have the restaurant and the luxury hotel culture out there, and people from the tier 1 cities are more, travel exposed. They can travel around. And then the emerging markets would be definitely Chennai, Calcutta, Jaipur, the state of Punjab, and Chandigarh, because there are like a lot of luxury hotels going and opening hotels there. So once the hospitality goes there, you have easier access to wines and also the familiarity between wine and everything like that. But even the state of Haryana has a lower import duty. But the problem with that is people will buy wine, but they're not aware about it. I feel that the awareness comes with the luxury hotels which are building and even with the wine education. And I feel the difficult markets would be the states where the alcohol is prohibited because India still have like 4 states where the alcohol is prohibited, which is the state of Gujarat, Bihar, Mizoram, and Nagaland. So these states have alcohol prohibition, but the government retail stores in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, there it's a bit difficult to have more wine. But Chennai, the capital of Tamil Nadu, Chennai has like a really good hospitality culture, because I was doing my hotel management in Chennai and it has a great hospitality culture. So even with the difficulty of the excess duties of the state, it still has good amount of wines.
Mm-hmm. You said government regulated shops. So it's not just the government of the state imports the wines, but they
I
also sell the wines
sell,
to the final
yeah,
consumer
exactly.
themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The shops are regulated by the governments, the state government. When I'm talking about government, I'll mention the central and the state, sorry, but the
Mm-hmm.
state government, yes.
Okay, got it. And at the same time, for example, let's say in one state or even the city, there can be some private retailers, private
Yeah,
shops, and
yeah,
also government regulated
yeah.
shops. Okay,
You see
got it.
that in Punjab a lot. Yeah, Punjab, Haryana, you see that a lot.
Okay, got it. What about the pricing? For example, if we talk about government regulated shops and also private shops, what about the pricing? The pricing will be the same for the same style of wines? Well, the wines are
Mm,
not the same, but
the wine are not the same because I feel in the private shop you will have more luxury options than
mm-hmm,
the government regulated shops. The government regulated shops would be more domestic
mm-hmm,
and entry level wines. So the
mm-hmm,
price structure would be a bit different because government would be more affordable, definitely.
mm-hmm,
But I think government shops will also have more domestic options than to actually offer international options. And with the government regulated shops, I also feel that they have more spirits than wine in that way.
mm-hmm,
Because I have seen a lot of international spirits being sold, but not so much wine. I would say that I have seen more domestic wines being sold.
mm-hmm. Again, coming back to pricing, because you live in France already for an extended period of time, you probably also frequently go to India as well.
Yeah.
Can you compare, like, even if it's not the same wine, but if it's the same wine, that would be even better. How pricing differs from Europe in comparison with India?
So it's a very, very good question because my first year in France and when I went back home in India, I saw the exact same bottle, same vintage of the producer Joseph Ducon. And I live in Beaune. So Joseph Ducon is just like 10 minutes away from my
Mhm,
place. So the 2020 Bourgogne regular, your Bourgogne village wine, here in France, I remember it was around, say, 15 euro, and in India it was selling like into four time prices. So it was like selling around 5 6,000 euro rupees, sorry. Yeah, I noticed that so much. But also along with the state regulation, a lot of other thing comes like the label production, because each state has its own label registration and own label process and regulations. Then the profit, and then all of these after being combined it becomes into four times. I don't know how it will happen with the 75%. I'm yet to go to India. I'll go back home in November,
mhm,
but what I saw from the last few years, I was always shocked because to see like wine bottles of Joseph Duhon, Albert Bichot, and all of these Burgundy wines in India, they were so expensive for an Indian consumer. In India, like in every country, you have the middle class, you have the upper middle class, and you
mhm,
have the rich people. So definitely a rich person can definitely afford a 5 6,000 bottle of wine. But also I feel that they are aware and they are also knowledgeable of what they are consuming because they
mhm.
are well traveled. So
Yeah.
they know, like, okay, like I have one of my very good friends in India and he is from that category. He very well knows that he knows his wine, so he would not pay 5,000 rupees for a village. He would rather spend like more money to buy a Premier Cru and a Grand Cru because he realizes that that's more
Mhm,
worth than spending this 5,000. However, on the contrary, there are upper middle class and middle class people who, like from my background, they would rather spend that 5,000 and impress their whoever they want to give the wine or to
mhm,
drink or something, and to impress their loved ones by like, oh look, here is the wine I bought, it's from France. They don't know about wine, but they want
mhm,
to experience that luxury because until 2020 I felt that wine was such a luxury product for the Indian
mhm,
market, but now it's being more accessible, it's being more accepted, and it's becoming a lifestyle with the entire Gen Z which is
mhm,
coming. Because like before I would see that it was only the heavy spirits, like you have your whiskey, rum, and all of those, but now it is becoming more accessible. So a 5,000 rupees wine, I think I would also spend a 5,000 rupees if I was in India. Like, I would open it for a good occasion, like my mother's birthday or my father's birthday. I'm going to open that kind of bottle of wine. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another factor comes in is that Australian wines are very cheaper in India because of, again, their trade agreement between Australia and India. So, a lot of varieties, a lot of accessibilities are there for the Australian wine. So currently, I only see Australian wines being taken at home, and I hope that now with the trade deal happening, I feel that the European wines get more attention and
Mm-hmm.
also the importance it's supposed to get.
Mm-hmm. Okay. About Australian wines. So what is the deal for imports between India and Australia, if you remember?
Yeah, it was moved down to 15%, 25 to 15% over a decade.
All right, that's interesting. Okay, coming back to states again, how do you think which states would be better for certain categories? Many of premium and fine wines, their wines are allocated.
Yeah.
They have many markets actually wanting their wines, but what about the entry-level wines or like some smaller wineries and just middle range?
I feel again entry level wine is good for state like Maharashtra because they're familiar with wine culture. Even Karnataka, they're familiar with wine culture because Nashik is in Maharashtra. So the people know that what wine is and they can appreciate. So I feel that the entry level wine is really good out there if really they make it out there. And middle range wine, I feel that Calcutta is a very, very upcoming region, like state of West Bengal. It's
Mhm.
very, very upcoming. Even Meghalaya, because one of my very good friends in France, she's from the state of Meghalaya, and the excess duties in Meghalaya is very good. And the story she tell me that the wine culture in northeastern part of India was way before than the mainland India. So it was very interesting to see and learn from that way because she was telling me that by 2010 and 2015 they were drinking Bordeaux, and I was like, what? And I'm like, okay, interesting to know, thanks. Yeah, so Meghalaya is a great state which is upcoming. Even like West Bengal has a great culture. And Hyderabad, you have the city of Hyderabad having like really good wine culture scene also happening upcoming. So yeah, these are the few cities I would say are still great for the mid-range and the entry-level wines.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much. I think that's a very practical answer. With the territory and the amount of
Yeah,
states India has, it's a precious precious
it's
information.
it's too big. Yeah, I know.
All right, so now when we broke down the state monopolies and defined some of the main markets, let's shift to the consumer. So, who is the Indian wine consumer today? If you can, again, mention the age group, maybe
Yep.
gender. Right now, we're seeing like gender shift to lifestyle, income.
So I feel it's the urban, and the age group would be around 20 to 45. Actually, it's segregated in again in three elements. One element who is ready to spend that amount for wine. Second are people who are depending upon their salary and they are going to be like, okay, this is my month's salary and this is amount I'm going to spend for my alcohol purposes, who are in the budget area. And the ones who are really in the show off, that if even if they cannot afford, they will end up buying it to show it off again because it's a luxury and it happens like that. So that plus I feel again metro and tier one cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Calcutta, and like business professionals, entrepreneurs. Wine is really upcoming. Like to give you a very easy example, which I have noticed also before on Netflix TV, on Netflix shows. Sorry, it was more of a beer culture in the Indian Netflix shows, but now it has slowly becoming into wine, and you see people consuming wine and being like, okay, casually drinking wine as how it is in France for the apéro. So even a lot of my friends in back home, they are also consuming more wine because they feel that they are more comfortable with it than whiskey or rum. I don't know if they shifted because I am in the wine or something, but yeah, they have like moved to wine, especially white wines a lot. So yeah, it's like normal, like every day now, how it's in the Europe, like you go out, you have a glass of wine in the terrace
Hmm.
and everything. So yeah, it has also become a culture in there, like
Hmm.
becoming slowly, it's also coming in and becoming a culture out there.
And also here I have a question because India and Kazakhstan also both Asian cultures. And in our country, for example, we have these big celebrations like, for example, someone's 70th birthday or like your kid is turning 1 year old. You need to make this big celebration among your relatives and friends. And also we have big weddings.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
is it normal to put wine or any type of alcohol like on the table during this kind of celebrations?
Absolutely. And I feel wine still hasn't made its place to that table as of yet. I feel some parts are still treating it as a luxury to have it along with people who would really appreciate wine or to show it off or to just enjoy with friends or something like that, to become it as a part of the celebration. I feel weddings, yes, definitely. Weddings, absolutely. Like the Indian weddings, Asian weddings in general are just enormous, depend like compared to European weddings. So yeah, weddings definitely the wine has come to the table, but other celebrations I still feel like it would be one or two bottles, not more, and it would be more for the people who are actually drinking it. But I feel it's more spirits currently still having the place at the table.
Okay, got it. And another thing is, again, for some emerging markets, there is this conception among some of my friends, even in Kazakhstan, as an example. They say, like, oh, I didn't know Kazakhstan produces wine. Or, oh, I think they're just adding a kind of
Preservatives.
powder or something into the wine. It's not
No,
like real wine. So go to Georgia, they have a real wine
better wine.
but not in Kazakhstan or somewhere in Europe, for example. So, what about Indian consumers? I know that India produces wines, and how Indian consumers see the European imported wines and domestic wines.
I feel that Indians prefer domestic wine because of the price point,
Hmm.
because it's very easily accessible and it's affordable. Because I was talking to this girl also from Thailand, and she was mentioning that the Thai people are very similar. I don't know if it's Asian culture or what, but Thai people are very similar to the Indian consumers as well. They are very price pointed. If it doesn't impress them, they would not invest money in that. So I feel that it's more domestic wines they're going for. But also a lot of people go for the international wines because of, like the gifting culture, giving a good bottle of wine to a person who really appreciates alcohol. And maybe also I feel that now people are traveling so much, or maybe when I was kid, I did not realize that people travel so much, but now that I'm seeing that they travel around so much, I feel the travel exposure also helps to know about wines and to discover about it, because a lot of my friends like travel to Europe, travel to Georgia, France, Italy, Swiss, and that's where they go be like, oh, can you please tell me what wine should I drink, where can I drink, if you have any recommendations or something. So I feel the traveling part also plays a very important role in discovering of international wines and like trying the international wines.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. And you also mentioned the gifting culture. I used to live in China before, and what I realized there, like, they like gifting tea,
Yeah,
cigarettes, and wine. Well, any type of alcohol. It can
yeah.
be baijiu as well. And here they really care about the packaging.
Hmm.
So, what about India? How important for them the packaging and the labels, the way the labels look?
Very important, I feel it's very, very important. I don't know if you have seen the bottle of Sula, the sparkling one, and the bottle is just so festive and so beautiful. Also, my friends bought that bottle especially because of its packaging, because the
Hmm.
packaging is so festive and so pretty. Like it really respects the Indian art and the Indian
Hmm.
colors. So the packaging is pretty important. Yeah, they really go for the labels. Like
Hmm.
even in France, I always used to think that people in France, just because they live in France, they know about wines, which is very wrong. because my husband is French and he doesn't know anything about wine.
He doesn't even
So
try to care, right?
now he's caring after he met me, but before we met, he did not even care about wine. He's like, "Oh, wine is something you just drink. Oh, for the Christmas, like only wine people who are really working in wine and really love wine are the ones appreciating." Because I feel that even when I was working as a cavist in Paris, I used to see that a lot of young generation would just go be like, oh, that's a very cute label, I would go for that. So I feel that yes, packaging and the label really plays an important role in human psychology also. I am like also a bit influenced by labels. I would see a dog on a label and I'm like, oh, I want that, it's very cute, I want that. So yeah, it plays
I need
so
this one. I don't know why I need it, but I need it.
exactly. So yeah, I feel that the packaging really plays an important role. Even the 19 crimes, they have like really great
Hmm.
label idea, and it works so well in India because you
Yeah.
just put and you're just having an entire experience of its
Yeah.
own. So yeah, I really love 19 crimes label. Wine, okay, but the label is still very good.
You don't work with them, right?
No.
Okay, so we are not going to cut it out. Okay, so to kind of finalize part about the consumer, could you briefly walk us through the tasting profile that the Indian consumers prefer, in your opinion?
I feel acidic wines do not work so well with the Indian consumers, which is very quite similar with the Americans, a bit of Americans, that they love their Chardonnay a bit oaky and a bit buttery end. I have seen with the market and I have seen with the people, I feel they prefer a bit aromatic whites, especially when it comes to like Vivestamina and Riesling and everything. Yeah, so aromatic whites and also Viognier. Viognier is like Viognier, Chenin, like works like
Mhm.
magic in Indian market. Then for the reds, I feel lighter reds are good because the oakiness, some people like it, some do not like it, but the maximum people whom I've met, they do not prefer the oaky, heavy, tannic reds. They prefer to
Mhm.
go for like fruit forward, easier to drink red wines. Those who appreciate wines definitely will go for like oaky and like tannins and all of those things, but now it's more like they prefer definitely fruit forward, like a gamay or a young pinot noir would definitely work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. And by the way, right now we know like rosé wines or sparkling wines, they're kind of like
Yeah, yeah,
become
yeah, definitely.
on
Like
the rise.
yeah. Because sparkling wine, they love sparkling wine. I mean, they make everything champagne, which is wrong, but yeah, they love sparkling
Mhm.
wine. And sparkling wines in India, even the domestic producers are producing such great sparkling wines. Same with
Mm-hmm.
Jose, like the Jose, they are making very beautiful acidity with great body. So I feel that they really know the consumer, and I feel that Indians really prefer the aroma and
Mm-hmm.
a bit of sweetness in their mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and like very fruity and not too tannic, like not a very strong Bordeaux or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, as I mentioned in the very beginning, you are very active on social media. So I'd like to shift to that part, to digital communication part. So which platforms are most influential for wine communication in India today?
Definitely Instagram. Like if you see the Master of Wine, the only Master of Wine in India, Sonal
Mm-hmm.
Holan, like the amount of educational videos she does and the audience, like it completely hits because the audience really do not know anything about wine, and she's making the content in like three languages. Like India has like so many languages, and she's making in English, Hindi, Marathi. She is tapping into every audience possible, and the way she's doing the beautiful storytelling and it's going so beautifully. Then there is another creator known as Sip with Kush. I really love his storytelling style. It's more spirits, but he also talks a lot about wines as well. Another creator, Devati Malik, she, like, all of them are such doing great job on Instagram to make wine more accessible and more people friendly, and not making it a product as if it's very intimidating and, oh no, I should not go to wine because it's very, very elite class or very something like that. They're making wine more accessible to general public, which is like so much required in India.
Mm-hmm.
And then YouTube for long format. And I think LinkedIn, I would say, is more for the trade communication and B2B. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about Facebook?
No, I don't think Facebook,
Maybe
anyone
for
uses
some like
Facebook.
older.
It's, yeah, it's for the older generation mainly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
India is really Instagram forward, like really. Like
Mm-hmm.
I saw in France and I saw in Japan. I was visiting Japan and I saw how much people are more inclined towards Instagram in India, because
Mm-hmm.
in Instagram, other than the international languages, you have more than 10, 11 Indian languages for the translation, the new real translation
Oh,
which has
okay.
come. So there are like n number of Indian languages. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also, I feel that Instagram is tapping into Indian market because, again, the largest population, accessibility, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also for our listeners, I would like to remind that some of the important information you can find in our show notes. So if you move below the audio track, then you can find the names of those influencers that Mohana just mentioned. So check them out. Okay, and another thing, also in some Asian markets, alcohol promotion in general can be an issue. Are there any legal limitations around promoting alcohol on social media in India?
Yeah, you cannot directly promote alcohol in India. It needs to be a surrogacy advertisement where you show that it's a glass, which is a whiskey glass, but you only have the label of it, but not pouring any alcohol. Then there
Oh.
is, yeah. I mean, there are very beautiful advertisement for alcohol. It's not really I mean, it's alcohol, but the advertisements are done in such a beautiful manner that you cannot directly show that, okay, this is the wine bottle. You have to show only the label or show it as a glass. I remember there is this, I'm forgetting the name of the spirit, the name of the company, but they used to make such beautiful ads. Like they have their own CD and they would be like, there is a couple showing that, oh, I want to play this CD, but it's like you have to be like, oh, they just want to drink that alcohol. So you
Mhm.
have to do surrogacy ads like that. You cannot directly promote alcohol in India. It's not allowed.
Okay, got it. And about the content now, what kind of content would resonate more with Indian audiences, whether it's food pairing reels or maybe some short educational reels or maybe like luxury scenes, or maybe people don't like to see like this
Yeah.
luxury driven ads anymore and they just want more like humankind videos. I don't know, more like
Uh,
emotional.
Yeah, I feel the emotions definitely work and the storytelling definitely works. Like, I mean, the ad I was just talking to you about, I saw it when I would be like,
Mhm.
I don't know, 13, 12, 13 years old. And I still remember that ad because it
Mhm.
was such a beautiful storytelling. So, yeah, definitely storytelling. And also, I feel that not using technical terms, but, going around it and making it very relatable to everyday situation or words is better. I also do that on my Instagram. I do not talk about how tannic Cabernet Sauvignon is or how peppery the Syrah is or something like that. I try to make it more relatable on an everyday basis. Like, okay, if you will smoke cigar, maybe, or if you smoke a tobacco, the aroma you might get it in bold tannic Bordeaux. You will get those tobacco aromas, and that's how you identify. So I feel that the story driven, accessible, beginner friendly, everyday situation and everyday examples work definitely way better. Even for the consumers, they want to connect, definitely want to connect with the brand. So I feel wineries and the brand should go something like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's more or less the same as in other countries. We're also
Yeah,
saying that right now people want something more relatable to them, something that triggers the emotion rather than just showing how luxury your like
exactly. Yeah.
castle looks like. And also in your posts, you talk about accessibility and also like how hard it was in the beginning in this industry, especially being not from European country, not wine producing country. And I also feel like sometimes in a country that is not related like directly to wine, like France or Italy, sometimes it's even harder.
It's
Uh,
definitely harder. You face a lot of appropriation, cultural appropriation. You face a lot of discrimination because of your gender, color, age, everything. Like there has been so many time I have heard in France, in Bonn, especially that, oh, you are so young. Just because you are so young, you are so knowledgeable. Okay, because oh, you are so young, maybe you don't know anything about it, or you don't know everything
okay.
about it. Also
Okay.
then comes like, oh, you do not come from the culture of wine. Why are you in France? Why are you working in wines in France if you don't come from a culture like that? Then the gender also comes in a lot of conversations when it comes to like meeting the wineries and everything. And like, for just to give an everyday example, if I go for a wine tasting with my husband, and if I am also there, even if I understand the language, speak the language and everything, the winemaker would still look at my husband and not on me. And even though he's like, oh no, she is the one in wine, she
Mhm,
knows
mhm,
wine, the winemaker would still, turn towards him and have the conversation, because they
mhm,
are like, mm-mm, I don't want to talk to her. So yeah,
mhm.
that is
So,
very good.
so you think it's also because of gender, not because like he's French
Yeah,
and you're Indian.
yeah,
It's because of
because
gender.
yeah, because I have a lot of French friends, and when they go for wine tastings, even they feel that, because they're just talking to their male individual or something, and they just turn around there. When it comes to all women sitting and having a conversation, it will definitely go towards your country of origin. If someone
Mhm,
says, "Ah, yes, I'm from France," definitely the person is just going to talk to them, because, like,
mhm,
even if you speak the language, talk about wine, know about wine more than them, it will definitely just go towards them. Like the
mhm.
limelight just shifts to first the men and then the French. And I feel it's changing a lot. Like in Bordeaux, it's definitely different from Beaune. But yeah, Beaune is very, very traditional. It's very traditional.
Okay, got it. And also about India as well, when you just started like working with wine, do you also feel like, again, age discrimination,
Yeah.
gender discrimination in wine?
Yes, so much, like so much. Like just like few weeks ago, I was told that because I'm from Gen Z and I'm so young, I might not be having so much of life experiences, and I do not know anything about wine. And I was like, I worked in wine more than 8 years, and are you telling me that I don't have experiences just because I'm from Gen Z and just because I'm young?
Mhm,
So the ageism is definitely there, and yes, the gender bias is definitely there, definitely. Even though I know more women in Indian wine industry than
mhm,
men, but when I go to Delhi and when I wanted to talk to a few distributors and everything, they were not really keen on talking. So I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, gender
mhm,
bias is definitely there in this industry. Like,
mhm,
definitely. I have seen it in France, in Burgundy especially, and definitely in India. Yeah.
mhm. Okay, got it. All right. Thank you so much. And it's almost time for us to finish. But as I said, I'm hoping for some other beautiful conversations in the future. And I'm also hoping to meet you in person. As I
Yes,
told you
come to France.
in the
Come to Bonn.
WhatsApp message, I was like, I feel like you're a very easygoing person. So I hope that we'll meet somewhere in person. But again, coming back to our today's conversation, before we wrap up, we usually ask our guests three rapid fire questions. If you can answer them in a short way, that would be good. But if it's not short, it's still fine.
Okay, I will
So,
try to be as precise as possible.
okay, thank you. So the first one, just to finalize our today's conversation, what's one key thing Italian wineries should keep in mind when entering the India market? Or it can be related to not only Italian wineries, but others too.
I would say start with state. Do not just go think like, oh, I'm going to enter India. India is like 28 small countries inside. So you really have to go state by state, and do not think that if something works in one state, it will work in the other state as well.
All right, thank you. That's actually the main thing to remember for the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay? And second, as you already mentioned that in the beginning of your career, and still now sometimes you have some difficulties in this industry. What would you tell to someone who's just making his or her first steps in this industry? What kind of tips or recommendations would you give to a person? And also, especially for Indian wine professionals.
I would say definitely taste as much as wine you can and educate yourself. Like education, learning about wine. I learn something every other new day about wine. So education and tasting wine, definitely start small. Do not start completely big. Do not jump into the pool. Just start with, okay, this is the grape. Okay, maybe I should try wines from this grape from different countries in the world, and not go directly, or just try wines from one country and understand that country and then move on to other countries. Start small, taste as much as wine you can, because tasting wines not only helps with your palate but also helps you understand different wine producers, different vintages, how different winemakers work, and what is their ideology. So it's really helpful.
Okay, additional question to this one. So India has so many states. So there is a national association, like sommelier association, right? Or
Yes.
every state has its own
No, no,
association.
no, no, no. There is the Indian Sommelier Association created by Amrita Singh. She is an amazing, sweet person. She lives in Bordeaux and she does a lot of work for the Indian Sommelier Association. And now they have like new courses coming up by the ASI. So it's like a great initiative for those who are in the industry. Even Sonal Holland provides with scholarships for women who really want to enter in the industry. So there are those options for the women who really want to enter the industry and do not know how to go for it. So yeah, there are like great initiatives done by the women in the
Mm-hmm.
wine industry in India, and I absolutely love seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And the third one, what are some of your favorite wine places, or maybe beer and spirits too, why not, in New Delhi?
So New Delhi, definitely the Captain's Cellar in the Taj Hotel. Like the amount of wines they have and like the entire collection, it's great. Then there is another one which is known as Persh Wine and Coffee Bar. They have such great wine cocktails, and I do not enjoy wine cocktails so much. So when I tell you they have like great cocktails, they really do. It's a very beautiful place. And in Bangalore, it would be Wine in Progress, because I really love the Bangalore wine culture. Actually, Bangalore is the city where I got into wines. I did my WSET, so Bangalore is really, really close to me in that way. So Wine in Progress, definitely great place.
Thank you for great recommendations. And here, I think, why not to ask you about some cozy, great wine spots in Bonn too, to go along.
There are so many.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but maybe something that just fell
Makes
into
me
your
feel
heart.
happy drinking
Yeah.
there. Le Bout du Monde
Hmm.
in Bonn. You have the Comédie du Douva. Then you have also La Arche des Vins. The Arche des Vins international wine selection is so amazing. Yeah,
Hmm.
these three wine bars is something I really repeatedly go to, and I really
Hmm.
love their collection there.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. And I
Yes,
really
thank
loved
you.
today's conversation. I hope, not only hope, I think I'm pretty sure that many of our listeners will find it very informative. So thank you for all the practical information.
My pleasure. Thanks
And
for inviting. And next time you are in France, come to Boy.
okay, that's why I like the wine industry, the wine community, and also doing the interviews
Yes. You
every
get to
time.
know so many people from all around the world, and you're like,
Yeah.
next destination.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, once again, Mohona, thank you for all the great tips and for all the information, and hope to see you in
You.
person one day.
See
Thank you so much.
you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Asia Wine Market. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this episode with your fellow wine professionals wherever you get your pots. To stay updated on upcoming wine events, market insights, visit ItalianWinePodcast.com. Catch you in the next episode. And until then, cheers from Asia.